Hello, it's Debbie Gilbert, host of the Business Awards show, and I'm the founder of the Best SME Awards and the Best Business Women Awards. And today I have a dynamic duo with me today in the studio. I am delighted to welcome Natalie Roukin and Jenna Stopforth. They are the founders of By2 Studio, which is an award-winning interior design company which turn houses into beautiful spaces. Functional homes that truly reflect the people who live in them. They have an excellent eye for detail and a love of timeless design and, more importantly, a client-first approach. And this has helped them build a reputation for creating spaces that are not only stylish, but practical and personal too. Now, their business is more than interiors. It's about, for them, delivering exceptional customer service, adapting to challenges, and creating a brand that their clients trust. They have a real commitment to excellence, and that has seen them being recognised as an award winner and finalist, reflecting the high standards that they bring to every project. So today we're going to be talking about their business journey and what it takes to build a successful creative business and how design can improve the way we live, the importance of understanding clients, and why outstanding customer service remains one of the biggest differentiators in any industry. So welcome, Natalie and Jenna.
Hi, hello.
So
Thank
this is the
you.
first podcast you've ever done. There
Mm.
you go. Oh, well, I'm pleased to be the first one. So, we always start our episodes with talking about the business journey. And because there's two of you on the session today, we're going to go backwards and forwards to both of you, listening to your various bits of advice and story and contributions about this story. So, Natalie, do you want to start off by telling us why you got into interior design and how you
Mm.
two have grown and developed this business? What was the starting points for you?
Well, it happened just over 13 years ago now, where I decided to retrain as an interior designer. I'd previously worked an executive PA for many years in London. And after designing my own home, I decided that I wanted to change my direction. My dream was to make this a reality and form a business, but I never wanted to do it on my own. That's
Ah.
where Jenna comes in.
Right. And how did you two meet?
We met retraining together at the same interior design company on a course, which we did together. And kind of we soon realized that our kind of design ethos and personalities and work ways of working were really complementary. So
Oh,
it formed pretty quickly.
and Jenna, where did your passion come from interior design?
I would say it was a similar thing, really, to Natalie. It was, kind of, buying your own home, your first home, doing that up, moving and again, and then friends and family, and, just really kind of having a passion for it and a keen interest. And then Natalie and I would kind of meet up because we had that shared interest and go to trade shows and things together in the early days and just talk non-stop about interior design and all the latest things that were out there.
Oh, and where did the name come from?
My two studio
Mm.
was incepted from kind of two perspectives, one vision. So from we've always been around, as you mentioned, kind of from house to home,
Hmm.
and now it's from house to home design by two.
Mm.
Two perspectives, one vision. So it's really, again, Jenna and I work on every project together. It's very collaborative. And between the two of us, we always bring a design together very cohesively, a lot of timeless design. So we felt that that name By Two Studio from house to home kind of reflected us really well.
And how do you divide up the tasks within the business?
Well, as I say, a lot of it is done together, funnily enough,
Mm.
especially around the design and the inception and the initial concepts and, really kind of getting a really good base of a design initially. And then sometimes that's where we split out and do different things. I might create the joinery, technical drawings and materials, and kind of start those first conversations with those specialists. And Jenna might, she's just brilliant and pulling like the furniture and all the different finishes, and just, we'll work in ways that kind of are best for each of us, because we both have a passion in different types of design, that sometimes the amount of design that we've done previously in that genre might lend itself better to that. So sometimes that's how we divvy it up as well.
Okay. And so you set up this business, what, about 5.5 years ago? And how have you grown your client base in that time?
We actually set up previously by Two Studio. It was Natalie Roukin Interiors, but Jenna has worked with me for like nearly 6 years now,
Mm,
and we're now by Two Studio. So initially, it was a part-time project from the beginning, because I still, and both of us still had young children.
mm,
But since Jenna came on board 6 years ago, we've worked full time, and we've really built the business up through our customer service and our passion for design to the business that it is now, by really understanding the clients
mm,
and how they want their homes to feel now, but also in the future, which is why we kind of say timeless design. It's really around that, it not just the look and feel sometimes, because sometimes that is evolving, but actually around that the property will work for them now and in the future.
mm. Yeah, because that's the thing, isn't it? It's all very well to go with the latest trends, but it might not actually be something that's sustainable for the future. So when you're working with clients, and they come up with some crazy, wacky idea, how do you navigate that? I mean, do you have to sort of go, hang on a minute, this is what we recommend, or what, how do you navigate that kind of situation?
I think it's about trust. We're quite open and honest from the beginning, where we say this is a collaborative process,
Mm,
but you have to trust us. We've been doing this for some time now, and we see it as a whole. And
mm,
sometimes a client will only see individual pieces and not understand how that would sit with everything. I think that's where 3D renders now, visualization, are just
mm,
so important to give the client peace of mind that everything will work together. So we've been using renders for some time now,
mm,
and they've obviously evolved dramatically as well. And we can bring it in also from initial concepts where we're creating ideas. So it really does help the client kind of navigate and understand the whole design process, so that things can move on quite quickly, and therefore we don't have a lot of pushback.
yeah, because this technology is enabling you to create a vision of what your plans and thoughts are. Whereas years ago, I can remember those days when you were given a board with different colors on it and different fabrics and things. And actually, nowadays, I guess you're using technology really to help enhance the whole customer experience.
Yes, absolutely. And we've been doing it for a while now, but it's getting more and more now, obviously, with AI.
Mm,
Everything is kind of moving in that direction, just because it's so much easier to create visual reference points. Obviously, you need a quite heavily, from our side, we feel we still need quite heavy input into
mm,
the creating those. Before, it was done more at the end, with quite expensive programs, etc. So they're still needed, but throughout the initial concept stage, you can start to use other avenues of CGI in that sense, but you need to tell it what to put in it.
yeah, exactly.
So that input it can't be created without that. It needs to see the room, it needs to know what it's putting in it, it needs a floor plan, it needs all those spatial elements to
Mm.
understand what it's going to look like, it needs to know all the colours and what the light is. And so really there's quite a strong vision already from the outset, because we've really taken the time to understand what the clients
Yeah.
wants, what they want how they want their home to feel, but what they also like and don't like in terms of design,
Mm.
very early on.
Very, very early on. Now, obviously, when you're setting up a business in the early stages, the marketing side is really, really important. Jenna, what have you been doing in terms of the marketing side of promoting the business? And obviously, awards have been part of that, So talk me
Mm.
through, you know, what have been the channels that you've been using and how effective have awards been for you?
Yeah. Well, the whole marketing plan is kind of quite diverse as it is, kind of for every business really. But, managing relationships and referrals with kind of like-minded companies has been really important
Mm,
for us. So architects, builders, etc. And, kind of business owners as well, when we went along to the awards evening last year, the amount of business owners and phenomenal women that are in the audience, and just making those connections with other business owners is really, really
mm,
important. Um, Obviously, the awards are bigger than, just that night, there's, everything that comes from it as well. So it's all those connections that are made. It's also, the credibility that
mm,
gives to, prospective clients for them to kind of give that extra trust and, kind of them to think, well, if an independent panel has judged
mm,
their work and they think that, customer service is really good by this company, then that adds that element of trust as well. So I think awards does fall into that marketing plan, building those connections, and then all the other things like, the social media, which Natalie tends to do, which, is part and parcel now, isn't it, of everything, every marketing plan.
It is definitely. And you've also done industry specific awards as well as general business awards, haven't you? And I
Yeah.
assume that was a thought out strategy.
Yeah, well, as you mentioned at the beginning of this call, we've won a customer service awards for House, which is an industry related kind of body where you can go on and find experts within,
Mm,
architects or interior design or builders or what have you. And we've really focused on customer service because, as you alluded to, it's really, really important for us, that whole customer journey
mm,
and the collaboration that Natalie spoke about before throughout our whole design process. We just want the customer service to be, them to have a really good
mm,
experience with us because when people are, renovating their home, it's such a big investment for them
mm,
financially and for their time as well. And they have a lot of decisions to make, and if we can be with them, kind of helping them make the right choices and kind of guiding them through that process, then we feel like we've done, a
mm.
good job.
And presumably you're working at the intersection between the architect, the builder, and you're in there as well. Because I think often people think interior design comes at the end, and yet it doesn't,
Mm,
does it? It comes at
no,
that intersection because how the
right.
space is actually built in the first place
Yeah,
is quite important, isn't it?
yeah,
Natalie,
that's it.
what's your thoughts on that?
Well, you've hit the nail on the head there, Debbie. And we need to tell every architect that this is the case.
Mm,
Because I was only talking to an architect the other day, and I'd say exactly that. We need to really come in right at the beginning because everything we do from the beginning,
mm,
especially spatially, once we get through the initial stages of understanding the client and what they're looking for, etc., as I alluded to before, we then start to work on the space plans. Now, as you can imagine, in some of these homes, you could lay out these rooms in many different ways,
mm,
but we really need to understand from the client, how do they want to live? How do they live now? How do they want to live in the future? So that we can give them the option and show them, right, okay, well, a kitchen could be laid in 4 different layouts, and that will give you lots of different options. That's just one room in a whole home. So obviously you've got windows to take into consideration, etc. So us coming in that early, then that leads into obviously electrical and lighting layout,
mm,
which then feeds into the tender process when it comes to for the contractor, because they're already going to have an idea of, well, that's where the TV is I'm going to need X amount there. Then I've got a sofa there with a floor lamp, and and we give them some of that information in terms of like a top line electrical plan. So it's really important because a lot of those changes can be made quite early on, and then as they go into the process with a builder that they've chosen, it's really clear from the outset what this house is going to look like.
Yeah, and the thing is, by getting you in at the end of the process, you can't change where a plug socket's been put or a light fitting. So if you're listening to the podcast and you're thinking about working with an interior designer, you need to get them in at the very, very start when you're refurbishing the house or building extensions. Jenna, what's the favourite project that you've worked on so far? Have you got one particular one that's really lit your fire?
Well, we're working on one at the moment, actually, Debbie, which is a really fun project that's been going on well, we've been working on it, I don't know, a
18
year and a
months.
half. Yeah.
Knows you,
So
doesn't it? It's a long
yeah,
process.
and that one is one whereby we did start off early. And we have been working with, like you say, the architect, the builder, the client, and the electrician, the light. I could keep going. But yeah, that is a really good project because these clients are actually building their house from scratch.
Oh,
Yeah. So we just can't wait to see it all come together, and it should be coming together by the end of this summer. So it's been a really good project, and we've helped kind of set the whole feel for the home, chosen all the surfaces and finishes and colours and furniture and lighting, and yeah.
well, it must be so satisfying, almost like giving birth, isn't it? When you see all your ideas come to life, it must
Yeah,
be
at the
fantastic.
moment it's very dusty, and it's kind of half done. So there's quite a lot to kind of come together in the next kind of couple of months. But I think by then we'll be really, really excited to see it.
And Natty, what do you think about the programs like Grand Designs, for example? What's your thoughts on that?
Grand designs.
Mm,
I find them really inspirational,
mm,
especially grand designs. I mean, obviously, what some of these people are willing to take on is quite a feat in itself, and us obviously understanding what goes into a build process like that. I take my hat off to them to even
mm.
attempt it. I think it's very aspirational. Everything always goes over budget, which is which we always laugh at, because we work really hard to stay within the client's budget. But obviously that's for interiors, not for building. That's
Mm.
completely different, because there's always things you're going to uncover. But I feel for a prospect that's going to watch a program like that, I think it gives them a better understanding of what's actually out there, so that they can go, wow, that's inspirational. I'd love to have that picture window looking out into X, or I'd really love a courtyard,
Mm,
where I can sit out in the middle of the house. It's
mm,
something, really unusual. And when we hear things like that, or we see visual images from the client that have those aspirations, it really excites us, and it enables us to push the boundaries that little bit further.
mm. Push the boundaries. I love that.
Mhm.
So, exceptional customer service. We've already touched on this subject with you, and I think obviously it's important for every business, but you are going into people's homes, you are part of their lives for, like you've just said, sometimes maybe up to a couple of years. So, has good customer service just come naturally to you, or is it a thought out process? What's your thoughts around why delivering exceptional customer service is so important to you?
Such a general me.
Well, do you know what? Let's come to you and then we'll go to Jenna and see if Jenna's got anything else to add.
I think it's something we've worked really hard on, and I'm sure Jenna will agree. We've
Mm,
taken, since we've worked together, we worked with a specific coach, and they've actually helped us really work on our customer
mm,
service.
okay.
Because obviously we want to stand out from the crowd, and I
Yes.
think that's how you do it, is that you become the person they really want to work with, and that starts with the prospect journey
Mm,
all the way up to the completion of the client journey. So we've really kind of created some wow moments in there where, you know, we've set ourselves apart from other interior design studios. That's how we feel.
So Jenna, Natalie's just said that you've been working with a coach. So how has that benefited the business going forwards?
Yeah, I think it's kind of, I'm sure we'll come on to it, much like the, you know, awards, in that when you do some work with a coach, it allows you to kind of step back and
Mm,
think. I think, you know, as, you know, everyone who's kind of watching this, and ourselves included, it's so day to day when you run your own business. 1 minute you're social media expert, 1 minute you're accountant, 1 minute, you know,
mm,
everyone understands that, what I'm saying. But to take that step back and really kind of reflect
mm,
on, you know, what is our customer journey? How can clients get the most out of this? What can we do that's a little bit different? What, you know, what can we give them that is something, you know, that they can remember this process by, or, you
mm.
know, just little things like gifts for the children. So we go, you know, like you say, we're going to be part of their life for a little while. So it's important that, you know, they feel like, you know, we're all in this together.
So you give them gifts for their children. Oh, that's really
Yeah,
lovely.
when we first go round, or they might have pets, or, you know, what have you. And we kind of ask all those questions
Mm,
initially to kind of understand them, because like we've kind of alluded to before, it's about how they live.
mm,
And it's not just decoration, it is how they live, and how, you know, their family is going to work in the home. So yeah, we do that. It's a nice
yeah,
little
because
touch.
I do think there's a misconception about interior design that it's based on your wall color and your flooring, and it's really not. It's like
Yeah.
you said, it's so much more to it. And I don't think people fully understand what interior design actually is. Do you think that, Natalie, that is a misconception out there?
It is. It absolutely is. It absolutely is, Debbie, because I have these conversations all the time. I love it when people ask me, so what it is that you actually do? And the first thing I say is it's not curtains, soft furnishings, and just cushions. Spatial planning, technical drawings, you know, designing furniture, understanding plumbing, where the waste is going. Yeah, lighting design in, you know, low, not full lighting design, but, you know, lighting designing, and, you know, designing everything from scratch if possible.
Mm,
So I think, yeah, there's so much more that goes into it. It's such a technical process, and I think the more that we can kind of spread the word, and so that people can understand, I think, because a lot of people are using interior designers now,
mm,
because they're time poor.
mm,
So that's their first starting point, but it's not until we start to go through the process that they start to understand what it is that we're going to do.
mm,
They just focus on how we can help them, but they don't actually understand what we're going to do. And sometimes it's not necessarily for them to know that. That is
no.
our job. We're just doing, it's like a duck, you know, under the water, our feet are going 100 miles an hour. And then we're just all pristine and proper on front. But underneath, we're like, oh my God, we've got to do this, we've got to do that, we've got to do this. And they just don't need to know about that sometimes. It's just making their life easy, and nothing's a problem.
Yeah, and I guess you must get clients who are delighted with your knowledge and your experience and can actually give them that guidance. And is this all the elements? Is this what you learn on your interior design courses, or have you added to that since doing the interior design courses? Did you learn about spatial and lighting, Jenna?
You do, yeah, you do kind of cover everything, you know, from the history of, you know, architecture right the way through to, yeah, spatial planning and lighting and things like that. But and then I'd say it's really just experience since
Mm,
then, Debbie. You know, the amount of homes that we go into, the amount of, you know,
Mm.
you know, you never know what's behind a wall, you know, and under the floor until, you know, you start the work. You know, there are all these
mm,
situations that we've been in and had that experience of. And hearing what our clients say at the end, is really wonderful, because the reviews that we get, how they're kind of they might be in a home that, you know, just isn't working for them, and they've kind of fallen out of love with it. And then, you know, we'll kind of help them with their interior design, and then in the end, you know, they'll write something really nice about kind of working with us and how that has transformed how they live. And I think that is the greatest pleasure that we can get, doing our jobs together. It's wonderful. It's really wonderful to see them really happy in their home and it working for them and their family.
Yeah, which is why I think programs like Love It or List It, I think it's called, with Kirsty and Phil, where
Yeah.
they show people exactly what can be done to their home to stay where they are. And I love all that inspiration. I mean, you can tell I'm a bit of a property. I love all the property programs more. I think they're really interesting, but it's really for inspiration and ideas as well. You kind of watch it and think, oh, actually, you know, we could do that or whatever. Just seeing the transformation that it can make for people. It must be so satisfying for you too.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think that's one of the reasons we've stayed in residential only. We've not gone into commercial interiors. It's one of the main reasons, really, because just the satisfaction that we get, and also the relationship with the family, that is really, really rewarding. You know, we've had various clients of all different things that have happened, and we had one client that lost their wife, and they'd cared for them in their home, and one room of that home was where that their wife was. So it took a while for them to come up with the courage to say, actually, I want to now make this room a memory of happiness. And we created a movie room, and where him and his children could play, and with memorabilia and, you know, just everything, so that when they walked in, it was like, oh, this is a happy memory now. And for us, you know, they'd kind of fallen out with love with the rest of the home as well. So we did quite a big project, and yeah, that's the feeling in your heart, you know.
Yeah, it's made me feel a bit choked there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's lovely. But what I have noticed, I was at the Howdens building in the City of London the other day. And yes, a 15-story building, and it's a big insurance company. And how the office spaces have started almost merging into something that looks like a home. So I walked into one floor and they've got a grandfather clock and sofas, and it's sort of like one of the breakout areas, if you like, where staff can go and sit and relax. And I just thought, oh my God, you know, because I come from the sterile era when I worked in corporate, of all the grey plastic chairs and all that sort of thing. But I do think that they're sort of morphing workspaces more into home spaces now. Have you noticed that trend?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When we go along to the shows and festivals and things regarding interior design, it does bridge residential and commercial. And
Yeah.
a lot of these sound booths now,
Yes.
it's,
Yes.
almost like home in the office and vice versa.
So what is on trend at the moment, Jenna? Tell us what we should be looking out for in interior design. What's on trend at the moment?
I think there's quite a lot of kind of muted colours at the moment. Just kind of, not so much vivid, bold colours. Things are kind of, as we're demonstrating now. Muted colours, I would say, like your terracottas and ochres and all that kind of, Mediterranean influence. It's what
And
we're liking now.
Yeah.
Natalie, what's on trend for furniture and soft furnishings and things at the moment?
Again, it depends on which genre of interiors you're going into. Obviously, modern contemporary can be very straight lines, and then you can move into kind of your Japandi Scandi with a lot more curves, minimal textures. I feel that we try to bring in colour to every design that we do, and that's why we loving the muted tones right now. that are coming through, even in lighting design. They're bringing in color into their store, working with paint companies, because they're really understanding that color and materials work in harmony together, finishes, etc. We find with families that obviously we try to kind of soften the edges with our designs. I feel like sometimes if we're being brought in after the architect, that a lot of it is still very angular and not a lot of curve, even though, you're just seeing so many curves and arches everywhere. But I feel like architects, or not enough of them, there are quite a few in St Albans that do that, in Hertfordshire, that do bring in curves. So we try to soften that. So furniture that has a curve, that's enveloping, that's, after COVID, people are still wanting that real, hunker down in their home. This is their safe space. So we try to make that as enveloping and as homely and as possible. We've just designed a bed actually for a kind of an 11-year-old that is still a platform bed, but it's a double, and it's really enveloping, and it's their safe space that they can go in and just feel like a cocoon. And that's like, something like that is it's been a lot of fun.
Oh, but it has. I would love doing the kids' bedrooms designs. I would absolutely love that. It's been fascinating talking to the two of you. So let's talk about the growth of the business really, and what the plans are now, sort of for the next couple of years. Where do you see the business heading, Natalie?
The growth of the business is up and onwards. So as I say, we've evolved to buy two studio, and that's around now kind of full home renovations, new builds. And we're going to grow the business within the UK. And that means bringing on more staff, and we're really keen to do that, and to have more staff in the office to work with Buy Two Studio, to enjoy that growth and that vision of a slightly larger organization, but still keeping those really fundamental roots of customer service and really understanding our clients and working with them. But then the next stage would be creating Buy Two Studio in Spain.
Oh, wow. Have you got property out there, you two, or some connection?
I have, yes.
Oh, I
So
reckon that would be amazing.
yeah.
Amazing.
So, in the next kind of 2 to 3 years, we will have a studio and store out in Spain.
Wow.
I will be living there full time, and Jenna will be working with the London and
Yeah.
Hertfordshire office, and I will be running the Spanish office.
Whereabouts in Spain are you
It's
planning?
called Javier.
Oh, Javier. Yes.
You
Lovely.
know it.
Well, I've not been. My husband has, and he's always saying we must go. So I've never been, but I've heard wonderful
Well,
things
you can be a
about it.
guest with me, Debbie, if you would so like. I'd love to have you.
That's amazing. Oh, wow, girls, that is amazing. Well, thank you for joining me today and sharing all of your lovely knowledge about interior design. If you have been listening to today's episode, we will make sure that Natalie and Jenna's details are in the show notes and their links to their business. So if you need your home redesigning, or somebody that does, or you're having a brand new house built, how amazing would that be? Then contact Jenna and Natalie now, not once you've finished the bricks and mortar. Get them in now to talk to you. Thank you for joining me, ladies. It's been lovely, lovely chatting to you today. And I wish you continued success with the business.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Debbie.
Debbie.
Thank you so much.